Ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, non-binary pals, and the technical rainbow in between, this is Modular Media Wrestling Podcast Live, and we're coming at you without a reaction. It's an old school, classic podcast of ours. Isn't that fun? I changed the camera to you so you can talk.
Oh, hi, everybody. I'm the Vacuuminator. I have special guest Stone Cold Steve Austin here with me. What do you have to say about not doing live reactions anymore? All right, nothing, because it's an inanimate object.
You were really proud of that bit, weren't you?
I made that up completely on the fly.
I could tell. I could tell. Damien Haas, you are not.
I mean, if you want me to be a little more uppity and goofy, I can certainly do that, but that's never really been my style, now has it?
No. And besides, you're not a big enough weeb.
No. Is Tokusatsu a weeb thing? Is weeb, like, exclusively anime and manga? Has anybody ever properly discussed that? Is this the proper forum to discuss that?
Probably not, but fuck it. Who listens to this podcast? I know you are, listener, who is listening to this podcast going like, when are they going to talk about wrestling?
In a bit.
You've listened to us enough to know that we just tangent.
Mm-hmm. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. It's about the journey, not the destination.
Honestly, I think Tokusatsu isn't part of weebdom because it's been so separated in terms of like fan culture. Now it's getting integrated into weebdom, but for a while it wasn't.
If only because like certain Toku fans kicked down the door and said, "We're making anime of Tokusatsu shows."
Yeah, I think once Gridman started coming onto the scene, that's when weebdom started going like, oh yeah, this is other entire nerdy subculture thing of Japanese media that we have never touched.
Yeah.
Anybody?
It's not just Tokusatsu too. It's like it's also Transformers fans going like, wait, y'all are still in the Kamen Rider? Okay, all right. I just like this because paint schemes.
Yeah. And like it's getting more integrated into weebdom, like on Buster's private server, where they only give out the invite every once in a blue moon.
Yeah, we're in there. We're special boys.
We're mods, bro.
We're Royal Dino Knights. What is this I'm doing? Jesus.
The whitest stance you know.
Do you want to see the whitest stance I know?
I mean, you just standing there's the whitest stance.
That's true.
Bro, I'm white and you make me look tan.
That's the best insult I've ever received.
No, I posted, there's a VTuber who did an entire karaoke session singing every single Super Sentai theme.
Nice.
Yeah. She's really funny, too, most of the time. But that was just pure karaoke and just singing, so not the greatest thing to get her comedy stylings, but
yeah.
Iron Mouse is the VTuber, for anybody curious.
That name does ring familiar.
But speaking of VTubers, because realistically, VTubing is essentially pro wrestling. You make up a character, you make up a gimmick, you keep kayfabe.
Yeah. That's now that you think about it, a lot of that Trash Taste episode is coming back to me.
Yep. Also, there is a pro wrestler who is a VTuber. What's up, Brendan Williams?
Hey, Brendan Williams.
Better Wooly.
Come on.
Always gotta love Better Wooly.
Does he call himself that, or are you just saying that?
Oh, you don't know? Okay, you know who Wooly is.
Yeah, I'm vaguely aware of Wooly.
Okay, you know he was part of Two Best Friends Play. Or the Super Best Friends Zaibatsu. Well, they had a running...
He skipped a freeway to go to a game release.
Yes. Very specific... Okay, so, like, there was an internal lore with this crew. To the point where they had an equal and opposite evil organization called the Utsubats, which is Zaibatsu backwards,
Wow.
which was just a couple of their friends who they made fake feuds with.
This is so old internet. I love it.
Like Takahata is one of them. He's currently a VTuber. He's been part of Team 4 Star for forever. Really good, fun, funny internet dude. There was an artist, I can't remember their name. There was one other person, I can't remember who it was. And the last one was Brendan Williams, who was Wooly, but he was considered better Wooly because basically every decision that Wooly had like talked about failure in his life, Brendan Williams actually succeeded.
Fuck.
Wooly played high school football and got injured. Brendan Williams played high school football and went pro.
Oof.
You know, things like that. Wooly plays a fighting video game. Brendan Williams actually fights as a pro wrestler. You know, but it's been a running joke. So whenever I see him, I just go, "Oh, it's better Wooly." And in fact, there was when I went
Mirror Universe Wooly.
Yeah, when I went to the NXT house show like a good couple of years ago, Brendan Williams was on the card, and people started a "Better Wooly" chant.
Hell yeah.
Better Wooly. But speaking of pro wrestling, we got a pro wrestling podcast to do, don't we?
We do. That is something we need to get to eventually.
So, let's talk about toys.
Hell yeah, my bread and butter.
We're talking about wrestling toys.
Yeah, everybody, welcome to the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. I am your host, the $1,000 Broski, the Michael Jordan of wrestling figure collecting, Matt Cardona, and I'm joined by minimum effort Brian Myers. How's it going, Brian?
No, I'm gonna embody that minimum effort thing by not even playing into this bit. So let's talk about the new Mattel WWE Legends figures.
Yeah, Legends Series 12 got revealed. If you guys aren't aware, this is a Target exclusive line that originally started years and years ago, back when Mattel first became aware there was an actual hunger for figures of older, not current wrestlers, because they would do just like one or two a wave of elites, and those would be selling way higher than the current ones. And so they were like, let's do an entire line of that. And they accidentally flooded the market, and it ended at Series 8. And then just recently, they brought it back due to fan demand as a Target exclusive line. And we've had a few series of that so far. And they just revealed in-hand pictures of the newest one, which is going to consist of a Outsiders Kevin Nash. Did you have anything to say about that?
He looks cool. Kevin Nash seems like a cool dude. Never really been too big into his wrestling, but like from everything I've seen about the guy, he seems like a chill bro.
I also like how they have the NWO logo spray painted over the line logo. That's a cool touch.
There's also a very specific era of Kevin Nash that I don't think really has a major figure, which is like early NWO. Like they usually do like Wolfpack if they do NWO because that was the major Kevin Nash NWO storyline.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like early. This is like right after Hulk Hogan joined the group and made the NWO. It looks like.
Yeah. And then we have Billy Gunn, which surprised a lot of people, but yeah, Billy still has a Legends contract with WWE. They're allowed to use his likeness for things.
I mean, fuck it, why not get the cheddar?
Yeah. And this is actually really cool because it's the first in a long-rumored series of figures for this line, which is D-Generation X in their WCW Invasion gear.
Invasion gear on the tank.
The tank. Do you think they're going to release the tank to go with these? That's my big thing.
Yeah, dude, they're going to. They did the ambulance. They did others. They're going to do the tank.
Yeah, that should be the next Wrecking vehicle, the tank. The tank.
The tank.
I also like how when you take off all the camo gear and the shirt, this can also just be a regular Billy Gunn figure. He's got his ring gear underneath everything.
I
He's
mean,
ready to go.
his like he also hasn't aged that much since this appearance, so you could just put him next to your AEW figures and go like, "Hey, look, it's Billy Gunn, part of the Gun
He's
Club."
he's 10 feet taller than everybody. Yeah, Battle Royal.
God.
Uh, no, I'm genuinely excited for this figure. I think I'm gonna pick this up, and I also want to get the entire rest of the set they do because I don't have anyone who's in D Generation X specific gear, and if I'm gonna build that team, I feel like this is the way to build that team. I mean, the only member of the team you won't be able to get this way is Shawn Michaels because he wasn't in the faction at that time.
Right.
But there is that.
I
And then
mean,
we're
the
also
aesthetic is the same as like mid 2000s DX, so you can kind of fudge it.
I could track down one of those DX Shawns because they've made a bunch of them. Um, but then we also have a new figure of Rowdy Roddy Piper, which appears to be a later run gear, when he was doing much more managerial, administrative type stuff in WWE. At least I think. I'm
Yeah,
not
this is
entirely
like
sure.
this looks like the gear where he did the very, very poorly thought out half black body paint
Yeah, this
like
might be
around that
based.
time.
Yeah, around that time. I still like the idea behind that promo. It just clearly was not a good thing to do.
Yeah, no, it was that Will Smith meme. Your heart's in the right place.
He got the spirit. He got the spirit, but he's not quite there yet.
Yeah, no. I'm looking at this though. I'm a little disappointed in the kilt.
How so?
It doesn't have an actual tartan pattern. It's just a grid. It
Yeah,
just,
it's it. I don't know if that's how it looked at the time. I'd have to look up the specific event this is based on. But yeah, Mattel soft goods can be hit or miss. So who knows?
yeah, no, it just doesn't look like the pattern. Yeah, no, actually, they got it okay. I'm looking at the actual pattern he used on the flicky flackin gear he like the kilt he used. I'm sending it to you via Discord.
Okay.
And like it's more detailed in real life. You can see the actual variations of a pattern,
Yeah.
but like on a cheaply made mass market soft good, I can understand not doing that.
hmm I probably will pick up this figure though, just because I don't have a Piper as of current. That's a lot of the Legends reveals is like, oh, I don't have a figure of that guy yet, and that looks like a decent evergreen figure of him, so I'll pick that up.
Has NECA or anybody done like a They Live Roddy Piper?
NECA just put that out.
Oh
NECA put
shit!
that out. Put that out last year.
Oh shit! Banging.
Yeah, yeah. You should go in your local Walmart. There's probably one on the pegs.
There's 1,000 NECA figures on the pegs.
Yeah, NECAs tend to shelf warm.
It's
I
because
don't know why.
I personally think it's because the boxes are closed half the time, so people don't know what the fuck it is. It's just like, oh, why is there a Nightmare on Elm Street box?
And why is it with the video games? What's going on?
Like, if they were like, because people don't see them, then they're just pop there because there's so
Mhm.
many of them.
It's meant to be like nice premium collector packaging, but like if you're also going to sell that at retail, doesn't quite hit the mark.
No,
Um,
that's packaging you send to toy shops and
mhm.
comic book stores and Game Stops and places like that. And
There's something that would really drive collectors crazy if there was retail packaging and then there was collector shop packaging from NECA.
that fu- I want that just to piss those kind of people off.
hmm Oh my god, the fucking tizzy the Power Rangers fandom went into when they found out the Lightning Collection was getting Target exclusive packaging. That was just the same packaging, but with silver foil instead of the dead white space.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Uh, and then the final figure in this wave, which is the one that also has a variant, is King Junkyard Dog.
Hell yeah.
Junkyard Dog.
Why not? He was an important part of the 80s.
Yeah, he's a golden era boy. I don't know much about him though, so I'm just kind of like, all right, cool.
This is very much for the boomers who grew up watching him and like really loved him. Because I
Yeah.
think he was like a fan favorite at the time. Like kids loved him.
hmm I'm sure that Matt and Brian are going to freak out about him on the podcast when it comes out tomorrow. I'm just looking at it going like, I kind of rather get like the Wonder Bread looking tights version that they put out years ago. I want to track that down at some point because that's what I think of when I think of him, and I only think of him in matches that were more about other people.
No, what? I haven't seen this body mold on a Mattel figure. I really like the barrel chest. I like how it
Oh
looks.
yeah,
It looks really well done. Like it doesn't look fat. It looks like a barrel chested big boy.
hmm I've seen it a couple times before, and I'm sure they've used it to death. But it is a very solid sculpt.
Yeah.
That's kind of how Mattel is they get like a handful of solid sculpts, and then they just slightly modify them until they're woefully out of date.
Yeah, but that's all from this line. So why don't we dive
Move on.
into the wackiness?
Masters of the WWE Universe is still somehow going on. We are on wave 7 of this line. And it was made, like, for those of you who aren't aware, Masters of the WWE Universe is something Mattel came up with as a pitch to WWE as essentially a backdoor way of getting sculpts to do a new vintage style He-Man line. Like this line came first. It went for like 2 or 3 waves, and then they revealed Masters of the Universe Origins. And now Origins is about to be cut off to make way for Masterverse, aka the line for the Kevin Smith show. But this shit is still going.
I mean, it's it's probably all the stuff is still there. It's easy to make, easy to produce. Just plop a head on. You give them some vaguely accurate accessories.
There are people out there who will go like, "Oh, I remember that wrestler. I remember Masters of the Universe. I'll buy it." Like I routinely see plenty of the first 2 waves of Masterverse on pegs. I'll only see like 1 or 2 Masters of the WWE Universe on pegs. This line is popular. This line does sell. So it makes sense that we're still going with it. And in Wave 7, we've now got a Junkyard Dog that's made to look like Spikor. We've got an Andre the Giant that's modeled after Titus, a Sergeant Slaughter that's modeled after Ram Man, and a Bret the Hitman Hart that's modeled after Triclops.
Yeah, I mean, all of this kind of it vibes. It works. It works within itself.
By the way, I flipped up there. Sergeant Slaughter is not modeled after Ram Man. He's modeled after Man at Arms.
Yeah, see, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah. And I won't lie, I am slightly tempted to pick up the Slaughter just because I love Sergeant Slaughter. Sergeant Slaughter is the first wrestler I was ever a fan of because when I was a kid, I was a fan of G.I. Joe and I thought Slaughter was awesome. Though it'll entirely depend on funds at the time. Currently, the Slaughter figure I'm most gunning for is that Valverse Action Force one because it'll be in scale with Classified series.
Mm.
But no, these all look fairly solid. If you're into this line, if you're collecting it, it's definitely going to hit for you.
Why does that Andre the Giant remind me of Adam Sandler? Just look at the face.
Yeah, I can see it. That's definitely there. Jeez. Wow. Wow, it's Adam Sandler.
Wow.
Adam the Giant. Wow. Loki has ruined us.
Loki. Here's the thing. Loki does, like, Owen Wilson and Loki doesn't even do the wow.
But it was just an open invitation for us to start doing it.
Wow.
Owen Wilson is the wow bringer. Like Unicron is the chaos bringer. Excuse me. Jeez, that came out of nowhere.
Jesus.
And another.
Jesus, are you possessed, my sir?
No, I think I had some dog dandruff in my nose. I was playing with my dogs a little bit before we went live.
Alright, whatever.
Excuse me, folks.
Give you a second to clean your pipes.
I have to freshen up. Excuse me. I was on the main camera there, wasn't I?
Yeah, you were available. You were seen.
Excellent. Well, I know what extracurricular wrestling watching I got up to this week, but did you watch anything extra this week, Boingo, or were you too busy boinging around?
Too busy.
Well, after Brian Alvarez recommended it on Wrestling Observer Live, I decided to check out the A&E Mick Foley documentary, which is from a few weeks ago, but is still up if you know where to look. It was really, really good. It's not an all-encompassing thing on his career. It basically entirely ignores his time in TNA and his time as Commissioner Foley, but it goes very in-depth on pretty much everything from his childhood up until the debut of Mr. Socko, because they basically tell this story of Mick going around and putting himself through everything imaginable in the business, just trying to come up with ways to get over, and at the same time trying to just be a good guy until eventually the 1-2 punch of the Hell in the Cell match getting him notoriety with wrestling fans, and then Mr. Socko being so funny that it broke through to the mainstream, got him that pop culture icon status. And then we kind of jump forward to present day, and there's basically a 20 minutes of, look at how Mick Foley is literal Santa Claus. Look at how he's the nicest guy in the world. And it's like, yeah, he is. And then it ends with him asking, but was it all worth it? And not answering himself.
Yeah. He talks about the pain he feels on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. Like, would I like that we went a little more in depth to some of the not so great moments of his career? Would I like that we talked about things like when they dragged him out of retirement? Maybe, but that wasn't the story they were trying to tell here. And for once with these documentaries, the story didn't feel forced. This felt like, no, this is the natural story that you tell with Mick Foley, that he is a good boy who has always tried to be a good wrestle boy, and because of that has put himself and his family through hell and back.
Yep. Speaking of Helen, I was about to try and...
Go ahead.
Speaking of Helen back.
Last night on NXT UK, or no, actually earlier tonight on NXT UK, they debuted a new female wrestler named Blair Davenport. It's Bea Priestley. The rumors are true. Bea Priestley signed with NXT, which means Bea Priestley is stuck in the WWE hell system for God knows how long.
Yep.
All I have to say is R.I.P. Bea Priestley. I did enjoy your short time in AEW. I was very upset when I heard the news about you during hashtag Speaking Out, but it seemed like you were on the road to redemption. Hopefully, this is a continuation of that road, rather than the biggest fucking mistake of your career.
Yep.
And hopefully your boy Toy joins you soon.
He's still in New Japan, though.
Oh yeah, but he's
still in New Japan, and and is basically treated like Kenny Omega was, as like top Gaijin.
Yeah.
And now that pandemic era wrestling is over, he has an easy end to AEW. Like,
But would you really rather see him or like Tanahashi?
I would rather see
Okada,
Tanahashi because Tanahashi is our
or
Tanahashi is forever our boy.
Like, we'll talk about it in a good bit, but it seems like AEW is starting to go for the denouement of Kenny's championship run, and I'm like, there's a really good lead into the third act that you're forgetting. And it's golden.
He doesn't have the belt anymore right now. Ibushi's not the champ.
Fair, but like, I don't know. Selfishness. Anyway.
Isn't Evil the champ? No.
I don't know what the fuck is going on with those crazy... I was going to say something really stupid there. BTE episode 262 intermission and Sammy's vlog free 26 ratings war aired this week. This is a solid couple episodes. Really like the Dark Order stuff that was building towards the angle on Dynamite that we saw, and was a very funny way of gaslighting Ten's drug problem and then completely ignoring it. Like, they basically teased we're gonna have an intermission because last week Ten accidentally got all of us high, and like Stu Grayson walks in and he's like, "Oh, we're doing an intermission? It's for 10, right?" No. I mean, come on, he's got the drug problem. No, it's not for his drug problem. Then it's for his drinking problem. No. It's for his porn problem. No. What the hell else is... Oh, his steroids problem. No, Stu, it's because you keep seeing invisible girls. Stu, you're crazy. You need to go to therapy. He's like, they're not invisible. They're not, you guys are the crazy ones. You forgot Anna, blah, 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 blah. And they basically talk him into going to therapy. They're like, we booked you a package. You're going next week. And they all walk off. He's like, yeah. And then Anna J just pokes her head in from off camera and goes, little bitch, and then walks away.
Because as we found out on the Twitterverse this week, Anna J was at Daly's place this week.
Last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And do we want to talk about that? Is that the kind of thing we want to talk about on the show?
Jungle Boy and her said, posted a picture of them kissing, kind of going, we're dating. That's about it.
Yeah. And I'm very happy for them. I was surprised for a second, and then I closed my phone and went to do another thing and kind of thought about it, and I was like, actually, from what I know of those two via interviews, they're a very good fit for each other. I'm not the kind of guy to play matchmaker, but if I was, I probably would set them up with each other. Yeah, that was nice, wholesome news. Nice episode of BTE. Really cool qualifying match for the BTE Championship, too, that everybody should go check out. And in Sammy's vlog, it was a really nice atmosphere that I wasn't expecting, but probably should have, where it feels very much like, oh, this is the penultimate episode before we leave Jacksonville. And Sammy's vlog became like an entirely different thing at Jacksonville. And it's very much the end of an era for his show, like it is for everything else. You know, there's certain people who are stars on his show, but aren't actually signed to AEW that we won't be seeing after the next episode that's going to come out. And so we're kind of just enjoying some final moments with those characters. And also... the toy reveal we were talking about earlier with Billy Gunn was relevant because they tried to stage an invasion of the EVP locker room, to which Matt and Nick were just kind of like, "Are you fucking kidding? All right." And then after they voiced their complaints, bunch of silly shit, and they leave. Marco Stunt, the current BT champion and co-star of Sammy's vlog, is just like, guys, I'm so sorry they made me do that. You know, I'm under contract with that show. I'd have never done it either way. I completely respect both of you and everything, and I want to be a really good champion for BT, and I hope this isn't going to interfere with our relationships in the future. And they're like, get the fuck out of here.
Like, they weren't in on the gag, but he was playing it up and was like, fuck off. We're not doing the bit. Kind of thing.
Very much so. Um, Great episode of Sammy's vlog. Uh, I I don't know. I'm one of those guys who's like, yo, you could. I'm not gonna blame you if you take or leave Dark and Elevation, but like BT and Sammy's vlog, must watch viewing.
Yeah. I always forget about him until, like, we start doing the podcast and I was like, oh, yeah, those are things. Fuck.
Should I be like adding you with them every week?
Even then, I'll probably forget about them. Because I've been trying to
Uh,
mow the fucking yard all week, but it rains every day.
Jeez. I know all about that. I got a most Saturday.
So I mowed like half a yard one day, rain. Got it.
I
It started raining before I can mow the next day.
Oh wow.
I got it. The rest of it mowed the other day, and then it started raining before I can mow today.
That's insane. You know. I looked at it last Saturday and I was like, I should probably mow it this Saturday, but I'd rather wait until next Saturday because then it'll be really overgrown and it'll feel like I'm really getting something done. And then today, and I won't get into why, y'all can listen to not tomorrow's, but next week's components to find out why, because I'll probably talk about it on that. But I had a pretty miserable day today. And at one point, my mom was like, why don't you get your mind off things and just go mow the lawn and then take a shower? And I was like, mowing the lawn is the last fucking thing I want to do today. Yard work is done on Saturdays. I will do it Saturday morning.
All right.
Uh,
Yeah. But I think there's only one thing left to talk about. But I think we should take a quick break.
Probably.
So we'll be right back. And we're back, folks. What's up?
A
We have an episode of Dynamite to talk about. A very special episode of the Dinos, the Mites.
This week on a very special AEW Dynamite.
This is the last of the pandemic era.
It's over. We did it. Chris, we did it.
We did nothing.
I got the jab.
I can't.
I wore a mask while I was at work for weeks on end, despite coworkers ridiculing me.
Just take off your mask and start coughing on them.
I was very tempted to do that several times, but these were like the kind of guys who looked like if you did that, they would just punch you.
Just, if they punch you, go like, I thought you weren't afraid of it. Call out their manlyhood.
God damn.
I thought you weren't a little bitch. I guess we were wrong.
You're wrong about a lot of things, Christopher.
Well, you're wrong about one thing.
No, I wasn't, because I was talking about Christopher Jericho, who joined the commentary team tonight, and actually made commentary marginally better. I enjoyed commentary a good bit more compared to normal tonight. It was fun.
Yeah, he also makes a really interesting babyface commentator.
Yeah, because you're expecting heel Jericho from months and months ago, and he's just like making all these references, and they're like, "Oh wow, you're a much better Winnipegger than Don Callis," and he's like, "Yeah, you got the trade up, Skiapone."
Yeah, I love how they just was going like, yeah, no, like Jericho's going like he's a disgrace to Winnipeg, which was great. Also, it's just like it's a nice little cap off to like Chris Jericho being on commentary was like the thing in the beginning of the pandemic era.
Yeah.
And it's just like a nice little send off of that kind of era of AE dubs.
Mm-hmm. That being said, I definitely want him back on commentary more in the future.
Oh, yeah, no. I have a feeling the minute JR wants to retire and the minute Chris wants to retire from in-ring action, we will have a very specific commentary booth.
Oh my god.
With Excalibur becoming the main seat, Chris Jericho and Tony Schiavone being the co-seats.
Tony Schiavone, the man whose job is perpetually to say, "You're right, Excalibur. You're right, JR. You're right, Chris."
He and sometimes too.
He does. We love Schiavone here. Schiavone is a cool uncle archetype man.
Yeah. Next, we have coming out of the woodworks, we have the one, the only, the Penta El Zero Mero with Alex Abrahantes and Eddie Kingston versus the Young Bucks in a basically you win the match, you get a shot at the title.
Mm. It's a tag team eliminator match, as they've held to calling literally anything that's for a title shot since that tournament, which kind of devalues that tournament in hindsight, but who cares? It's a cool title.
Goddamn. Okay, we have to talk about the Bucks look because it's the thing they're doing to get heat. Is they're just making themselves look like shit.
I love it. I genuinely love it. I'm like, this is the kind of shit I would do if I was a wrestler. This is fucking fantastic.
Because Nick came out with a full-on goatee.
Mm-hmm.
Like evil Spock goatee.
Yeah.
And Matt came out with a rude mustache. Doctor Strange mustache, like best would describe it.
Mm-hmm. And then we also see Brandon Cutler has like the same kind of mustache Matt has, but then he's got the little goatee strip. And Michael Nakazawa has a mustache as well.
Wait, Brandon Cutler has a Van Dyke?
Yeah, did you not notice?
No!
Here, I'll send you a picture of the whole Elite with stashes. That's something they posted to Twitter after the show.
Lordy, lordy. That's a Van Dyke.
Don't they look like the best dad biker gang?
Brandon Cutler reminds me of something. He looks like a fucking extra on a Chronicles of Riddick movie.
That's funny to me because I've never seen a Riddick movie, and I only kind of know what they're supposed to look like,
God damn it!
and that is not it.
You need to understand my topical cultural references to the Chronicles of Riddick.
Your extremely topical cultural reference that's about as topical and cultural as winter is coming.
Hey, there was a Chronicle of Riddick movie like 3 years ago.
Yeah, which is about the same amount of time that passed between Game of Thrones ending and that episode of Dynamite airing.
Yes, but here's the thing. Chronicles of Riddick never was presented as the must-see thing in TV that everybody was hyped up about and disappointed everybody. It's always been the fucking Chronicles of Riddick.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
If you're talking about this match being bad, you're definitely wrong because this is a great tag team match. I really enjoyed some of the action in this and seeing just how over Eddie has gotten.
Oh yeah.
Like that spot when they're trying to beat him down against the ropes, and he just stands up and turns around and takes a super kick full in the face and keeps going, and the crowd's just fucking losing it. I was like, oh my god, they have to put the title on Eddie Kingston.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Man. Eddie Kingston is best fucking underdog story in this whole thing. Like, if there's anybody I go like, oh, they're AEW for life, that's not part of the EVP group, it's Eddie Kingston.
And that's another great thing about the commentary table tonight is like they full on put that over and made that clear to any new viewers who had maybe missed the last few weeks of Dynamite because it was on a different night. You know, JR's like, oh, he seemingly came out of nowhere, and he was just this guy who attached himself to all these big stars and got over on his own in spite of them. And then Jericho comes in with, hey, motherfucker, he was on my podcast and talked about living out of his car and selling his gear.
Yeah, no, like, that was where Eddie Kingston was, and AEW was like, hey, you want to do a match with Cody? Because people really liked your online promo. And then he came in, everybody fell in love with the character. They was like, all right, cool. Do you want to come back again? Yes. I need money. But now he has gotten over it. He is at a level of notoriety that Jungle Boy is, that Darby Allin is at this point in time, and they're slowly becoming, I wouldn't say like A-list mainstream talents, but like Darby Allin's gonna be in Jackass 4.
Yeah, these guys are becoming to AEW what guys like Sting were to WCW. Like, these are our guys. Okay, they may go to other companies eventually, but they're our guys.
But like Eddie Kingston, like the way he talks, the way he moves, the way he just behaves as a man makes me think like, no, he was given this much of an opportunity in AEW. He is going to be as loyal as he can to AEW.
Mm-hmm.
He just seems like that kind of like loyalty of a dude.
By the way, shout outs to my boy Tranquilo Club YT for being on Twitter the other day, just straight up going, yeah, fuck Bully Ray.
Yeah. But no, this match was great. This match was amazing. Fucking Kazarian being called the Punisher.
Yeah.
That was good.
Mm-hmm. And then Excalibur very quickly going, no, we're trying to get Elite Hunter over. He's the Elite Hunter.
Also, we're not part of that. That's Disney.
Yeah,
we can call him the Terminator.
Like there was a lot of cool outside interference in this match, and that's the thing is like AEW does outside interference because there's a lot of it in this show specifically, but in AEW in general, where to a point where like in other promotions it would feel ridiculous because it's somebody unrelated coming out of nowhere to interfere with a match that they're not really involved in to start another storyline. But in AEW, it's all these side characters and supporting cast members coming together to make the story of our main characters more interesting. Like the bit where Brandon Cutler tries to do the whole spraying stunt and accidentally hits Matt Jackson and realizes he's botched, and so he freezes up to the point where he gets thrown off onto the mat and is still frozen on the mat for a few minutes.
Yep. That's good. The Good Brothers coming in and like they're keeping people up to date. Apparently on Impact they got fired.
Yeah.
And now they're just the hired guns of Don Callis. Wherever Don Callis needs hired guns, they go there.
Yeah, so help those.
So I'm pretty sure they're kayfabe fired from Impact.
Yeah, I think it's the modern way of saying like these guys are still signed to us, but they're on loan to this other company.
Yeah, and they also apparently they showed up on New Japan Strong.
Oh, cool! Good for them.
Yeah, so they had a little bit of a homecoming there. They're playing the field. They're becoming the hitmen, the bodyguards, the that kind of guys.
Yeah, they're a regular old Arn and Tully.
Yeah. No, this was great, but Penta does pick up the win with a package pile driver and a did Eddie Kingston do a stunner?
That's what JR said.
No, I don't think he did a stunner. He did like a backhand or something.
I could have sworn I heard JR say stunner.
Yeah, but you also heard JR say a lot of things that aren't quite right this evening.
Yeah, and I've also been messing around with this guy a lot this week, so take of that what you will.
Who knows? Penta did a pile driver, and then Eddie did a move, and then they pinned Matt Jackson.
Yeah, so they are getting a shot at the tag titles next week.
Yep. Oh, should we talk about the 3 count thing?
Oh yeah, they botched a free count because Matt Jackson didn't get up quite in time. He was supposed to miss it, and the crowd literally chanted, "That was free, that was free," and they had to just keep going.
Here's the thing, though. Didn't they also already hint that might be a thing with Rick Knox because they've been putting money in his pockets, and didn't they do a thing in that on BTE?
I can't quite remember if that was a thing, but I do know that there is a segment in BTE where literally they signed him to AEW way back before the before Double or Nothing, the first Double or Nothing had even happened.
So either way, I definitely think they're gonna. This is a botch in the way of like they can tell a story with it.
Yeah, like he is already established to be their ref, sort of, kinda.
Yeah. So they can just make him a heel ref and dirty for the elite. A fair ref for everybody else, but if he refs for the elite, it's... And they could do a whole big storyline of like, oh yeah, no, we want Rick Knox to ref our match. No, you're not going to get Rick Knox. Why? Because whenever Rick Knox refs any of your matches, there's always a thing that goes wrong, and we just don't trust it. We want to have Aubrey Edwards ref this match.
And the crowd goes wild.
Yeah. Because goddamn, we can who's the one who refed the final? I can't remember his name. Bryce Remsburg.
Yeah.
We love Bryce Remsburg, but he's kind of like he gets very overwhelmed in matches, which is a great like character trait for him and the matches he refs. Things can go wild very easily with him. You want to introduce the next segment?
I sure do, because we got a backstage segment featuring Christian Cage talking to Jungle Boy, hyping him up for his match tonight, going like, hey, it's okay that you lost last week. We can't always win every match. What's important is that we get back up and move on to the next one. And you've got a big opportunity tonight, too, because if you win your match tonight, you'll be the first wrestler in this company to get 50 wins on your record. That's a big deal. That's going to be awesome. And then Luchasaurus walks in with Marco Stunt, and he's like, yo, you've been taking care of my boy while I was injured. Thank you. It's really nice of you. I really appreciate that. And Christian is like, oh, yeah, no problem, man. By the way, I've been meaning to tell you, I'm actually like 1/4 Triceratops on my mom's side. He's like, oh, that's awesome. I have a cousin like that. We should totally talk about our family trees. And they walk off.
I love Christian Cage's character of basically being, I'm the old school veteran wrestler, but I am totally up to date and cool with contemporary wrestlers that every other person in my generation goes like, you're kind of lame and I hate you.
Yeah, Christian Cage's whole mentality, I think his entire career has been like, no, I want to be serious in my matches, but also I'm down to do whatever silly shit my friends want to do.
Christian Cage is the boomer that the Zoomers are okay with.
Yeah.
Like, he can hang out with the Zoomers. They'll be fine. Like, they go like, hey, you're old, but you don't treat us like shit.
Mm-hmm. He's literally that 40-year-old hanging out smoking cigarettes with 20-year-olds.
But, like, it's not creepy. It's just more of like, I just need to get away from people my age because it's all fucking depressing.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Next,
but no, it's a great segment. Reminded me a lot, actually, of Christian's time when he was an up-and-coming star, because backstage segments like that were kind of a huge thing in WWE at the time.
Yep. Also, just really, like, kind of explaining why Jurassic Express hasn't been around for a bit. Luchasaurus was injured, kind of kayfabiness. Next up, we have an interview segment with Ethan Page, done by Tony Schiavone. This is actually pretty good. I really dug it. This really got Ethan Page's character of like, I am a pompous ass. I believe everything I'm saying. Fuck all of y'all.
Yeah. And it was really great how they played with the crowd too, because there was literally a moment where I went, oh no, he has go home key. And then he like perfectly whipped the crowd into shape, and I was like, and he just handled it. He just handled it perfectly. Look at this guy go. I like this guy.
And, like, the crowd played into it because he was saying, like, fuck y'all, listen. And by the end of the promo, they were going, we can't hear you. We don't want to listen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Which is good. Ethan Page is basically going, like, hey, Darby, fuck you. I want to break you mentally to the point where it's harder for you to wrestle. I don't care about physically. I want to give you PTSD. Which is a weird, like, really cool modern version of I Will Break You.
Mm-hmm. Mind games.
Yeah, really good. And then Sting comes out carrying a coffin, and we get this David Lynchian goddamn montage.
It acts like it's going to be a huge reveal, like, oh, what's in the coffin? And it's like, obviously, it's Darby.
No, it's Steve-O.
That would have been way better, actually, if Steve-O came out and then Darby attacked him from behind.
You do know damn well they are going to do a jackass promo on AEW to hype up the movie that Darby is in.
There should be a segment where, like, Steve-O tries to rappel from some insane height with Darby and Sting.
Like, here's the thing. Steve-O's also gone on about the time he did do a thing in WWE and goes like, yeah, no, we fucked that up. And he seems like the kind of guy of like, I want to try that again and actually do it right this time. Mm-hmm. You know? But, no, it's fun. It's just beat up segment. But Ethan Page goes, you know what? Fuck you, Darby. You're trying to injure me because you know you can't beat me at 100%. Match is off.
Actually, it's delayed. You know what? You can't touch me next week, and then we'll have the match at Fyter Fest.
Basically, if you follow this strict rule of you cannot touch me, for me to basically re-heal up, we'll have the match.
Yeah.
Also, Darby had acrylic nails on.
Yeah. Did you hear why they did this?
Oh, why?
the building collapse in Miami, and they're going to be in Miami next week. So doing a coffin match would be a tad tasteless.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Good idea. Good on them. Makes total sense, but also this builds up interesting heat for the match.
Yeah. Excuse me, I forgot to look at the card. Jericho plugged his book. There was a segment where they went up to the stage, and Jericho's like, "Hey, I've got a new book. You all should buy it." And they're like, "Oh, what's it about?" It's a list of every match I've ever had, because I've been making that list my entire career, and I thought it would be fun to release it as a book. And he goes, "I'll prove it. Throw out a number between between 1 and this insanely high number, and I can pick out the match and tell you exactly what it is from this book." And so Excalibur points out like 526, I think it was, and he's like, "Oh, it's this match. It happened in this place. This is how it ended. Blah 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 blah. Buy the book." And it was cute. I genuinely thought it was cute.
That is a neat concept for a wrestling memoir, because it's just like, here's all the matches, here's where I was at the time, here's where I was mentally, here's how I felt about the match. It's really, like, I can see that being not necessarily a textbook, but a really good reference guide for wrestlers in the future.
Yeah.
Of just how to, like, think about and critique your own matches, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But next up, we have Jungle Boy with the Jurassic Express in his corner, with Jack Evans going up against with Hardy Family Office. And it's officially confirmed that TH2 are bounty hunters on the Taker HFO. It's not like a hinted thing. It's like official.
They're to the HFO as the Good Brothers are to the Elite.
Yeah, they are hired guns. They are loyal to the dollar, but they are part of the faction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty good match.
Yeah, it was solid. The more I watch stuff of him on his own, I realize like I'm more a fan of Angelico than I am of Jack Evans as far as ring work goes. But it was still a really solid match. Did a good job of getting Jungle Boy over. I like how much placement they had with rope breaks in this match. That was really well done. Yeah, just a solid match to get Jungle Boy his momentum back.
Yeah. Dope, really good. Jack Evans taps out. And then there's a brawl. Hardy Family Office comes out, brawls Jurassic Express, and Christian Cage comes out because fuck the Hardy family.
Yeah. And I do like how they're finally acknowledging, like, hey, this is a feud that's been going on for decades. We're not doing anything new here. We're just playing a song that everybody loves.
We're playing the hit. We know this may be the last time we can play this hit. These guys are getting on in years. They probably want to have one more feud to just go like, ah, man, remember the good old days. It's fine. It's cool.
Yeah, it's solid. We then go backstage to a promo from MJF where he talks about Chris Jericho and how happy he is for him because he's finally found his place as the clown of AEW and all this other stuff. And then he moves on to Sammy Guevara, his opponent for the main event, and basically says, yeah, Sammy, a lot of people say you're the future of AEW, and that's really cool. I think you're the future of AEW too, because I'm the present, and that matters more. That's why I'm going to kick your ass tonight.
Yep. Good. It's good classic MJF promo.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a little interview segment with Alex Abrahantes and Andrade El Idolo.
I love how he like completely changed clothes in between the opening match and this.
Because I wonder if this was filmed at a different time.
Exactly. It's like, oh wow, the logistics of wrestling are always fascinating when you think about it.
Yep. It's also weird because Alex Abrahantes, when he's managing Penta, is trying to match Penta's energy with his clothes.
Yeah, he's practically a different character.
Oh yeah, no. But Andrade basically goes like, "Yo, I'm really dope. I'm here to prove myself. I'm here to win. And when I have my match in Miami, I'm gonna win because it is the land of Latinos, and I am, I am Mr. Latino.
Yeah. It's going to be his debut match against Matt Seidel, as we had predicted last week.
Yep. Also, really fun little bit because he just goes like Matt. What's his name? Alex goes like, "Oh, Matt Seidel, Matt something." Like he does not give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is above all of this. It's just like It's a foregone conclusion that I'm winning.
Yeah, nobody's going to care about this guy in a few years.
Yeah.
We then go back out to the ring where Tony Schiavone is talking to Kenny Omega, who looks like he's a member of ZZ Top. Or
2000 era Triple H.
Shit, yeah, that is what it looks like.
I part of me thinks that's on purpose.
But they have a brief conversation where Tony's like, "Okay, so who's gonna be your next opponent?" And Kenny's like, "No one. I've fucking beaten everyone. I've beaten every kind of star I could beat in this company. There's no one left. Even though there's literally dozens of other people on the roster we could possibly use, there's no one left. There's no other stories to tell. So I'm just gonna fuck off to Impact for a while, and y'all can do whatever the hell you want. I don't care. I'm taking the belt with me." Bye. Evil Uno comes out with the Dark Order, and he's basically like, "Yo, there's someone you haven't beaten for that title. There's a certain mutual friend of ours you haven't beaten for that title, and he just got back to his number one ranked spot. How about that? Isn't that interesting? I wonder what's going on there. I wonder why you won't give him the championship match. I wonder if all these people here don't want to see that championship match." And Kenny's like, "It's because he's a little bitch.
Yeah.
He's a little bitch, and he doesn't want to fight me. So I'm not going to fight him. Move."
This feels not necessarily like, oh, we're setting up the match, but more, we're making the subtext overt text for all the people who haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, for everybody who doesn't watch Being the Elite, here's how this feud is going to work.
Yeah, this is the twist in the second act, so to speak. This isn't the beginning of the third. This is a twist in the second. I have a feeling Chris Jericho's going to have, because he still has the Christian Cage feud that's been bubbling in the background.
But I definitely do think we're headed for Hangman versus Kenny at All Out.
See, here's the thing. I think it's going to be the first pay-per-view of next year.
You think it'll be Revolution?
I think it'll be Revolution. Because it gives enough time to like build the fully chew into this story, give Kenny a couple more wins, have a couple more things with the belt. We're now outside, so give Kenny a good run with crowds and the belt and all that kind of stuff. Maybe have some New Japan stuff now that the pandemic stuff's kind of lifted. Bring them over, do that kind of thing. And then Hangman Adam Page goes for the belt on the pay-per-view where him and Kenny Omega had the best tag match in AEW history, proving that he is not only capable of being with them, but surpassing them in the same pay-per-view.
That's good booking.
That's poetic.
I wouldn't be upset with that. You know, it'd be poetry. It'd rhyme. Say it. Say the line, Boingo. Say the line.
It's poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah.
People give George Lucas shit for that. That's good storytelling, though.
No. Red Letter Media gave George Lucas shit for that, and then everybody went, "Yo, that's funny."
It's not. That's. You use similar themes to showcase how these themes interact with character and story. Jet skis.
Wow.
I just
Wow,
turned into Owen Wilson.
I want to get on a jet ski. Wow. You should all be watching Loki. This week's episode was really damn good.
This week's episode was really damn good. Also, watch Modular Media's No Price Podcast. It's on this same YouTube channel. You can also find it on podcasting platforms of your choice. Where we talk about Marvel movies, merchandise, media, and more.
Yeah, we're gonna have a packed episode out on Monday because we got the new episode of Loki. We've got a ton of toy news already, and I might have actually read a good bit of new comics this Wednesday.
Ooh, and there's updates on X-Men stuff that I gotta tell you about. Have you seen some of the spoilers?
I haven't. I'm just always excited to hear what's going on.
Man. Also, I read Eternals.
Okay.
I've been reading Eternals. I like Eternals.
Oh, I thought you said Turtles, as in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Eternals.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I look forward to hearing about it.
Yeah. But speaking of hearing about it, we hear about it from Brian the Pillman the Jr.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say the other thing that happened with Dark Order after this. So.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember exactly when it happened, but I remember it happened. So Brian Pillman Jr. basically goes like, "Hey, yo, I may not believe in what you believe in, Miro, but I don't think I want to if you're his chosen champion. It's kind of bullshit." And I realized, oh shit, Brian Pillman just became Vac's #1 wrestler.
I loved this promo. It was real good.
Yeah. Also, it really gets over Brian Pillman Jr. not just as Brian Pillman Jr., but as his own dude. Like, this is what this little mini feud's doing for me. It's like making me go like, oh no, he is Brian Pillman's son, but he's his own man. You know, he's not just playing his dad's hits.
He's respecting the past while moving towards the future.
Right. But
by the way, the other Dark Order thing is after the match.
Okay. Well, you didn't. Oh, it is there. Yeah. I didn't see it. Never mind. You want to talk about the next thing then?
Yeah. So we then go to the ring for Brian Pillman Jr. with Griff Garrison and Julia Hart versus the Redeemer, Miro, for the TNT Championship. This match was awesome. Miro's new music is awesome. I'm in love with this new gimmick. I like it. It's one of those things where I was a little sad that the boy lost, because I really like this new babyface faction in the Varsity Blondes that's built up.
Mm-hmm. But
it made sense that they lost, so I couldn't get mad over it. And just the Miro I'm trying to do God's work gimmick is so good, and like I never would have expected it from him in a million years, and I know it's only going to get better from here, because eventually CJ's gonna show up, and that's gonna add a whole new level to it.
Mm-hmm. Man, dude. Fantasy booking tangent. We always go on these, but got to do it. God's favorite champion goes up against the devil's favorite disciple, Tommy End in AEW.
Ooh.
God damn. The kicks, Sonic Boom kicks heard around the world. God damn.
I'm down.
Yeah, that'd be fun. But this match was really good. It just really showed Brian Pillman in a really good light of just being like, oh no, he's smart in the ring. He knows his way around it. He knows his way around his opponent. But Miro's just the stronger man right now.
Miro's he's too strong.
He's too big.
And so eventually he gets Pillman in the game over, and Pillman flat out passes out. He doesn't tap, he just passes out.
Nice babyface response to a submission.
Mhm.
Also, a quick thing I want to make note of at the beginning, before the match even started, when Brian Pillman and the Varsity Blondes comes out. Brian Pillman puts his entrance gear onto Julia Hart and then fluffs her hair like a fucking big brother, and I was just going like, okay, cool, I love this
That was the
relationship.
cutest shit. That was the cutest fucking shit. And I'm like, all right, where's my Unrivaled collection of Varsity Blondes? I need them now. I
Because
need
it's
all of them.
Cause like for a little bit you were going like, oh, is it kind of like the high school jock dating the cheerleader, kind of that, is that the relationship these group guys gonna have? And it's like the minute he did the hair fluff, I was like, no, it's just older brother and little sister. Sweet,
No, no,
I
no,
love
no.
this.
This is not your Disney Channel teen comedy that turns into a romance. This is a free man Power Rangers team.
This is it feel because it's like it's very brotherly. It's just very friendly. It's nice.
Like, I can totally see it. Brian's the Red Ranger who's the charismatic leader. Griff is the quiet Blue Ranger who hangs out in the back and gets a focus episode every once in a while. And Julia is the peppy Yellow Ranger that is a fan favorite.
The best friends are an opposite Power Ranger team in the same season.
Oh my god. AEW has to adapt Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger with these two groups. And Orange Cassidy as oh, I forgot his fucking ranger name, but Noel, the sixth ranger who can be on either team.
I still say that's a cool gimmick for a Sentai show.
It's one of those shows that I regret having dropped, and to this day I every once in a while will go, damn, I gotta go back and watch that.
Because like I know people gave it shit while it was airing, but it's just like that is a neat concept. I can dig that concept.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And like the only reason I dropped it at the time was because I was just burnt out on watching Toku weekly.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to get back into just watching that kind of stuff like anime, Toku. Apparently, there's a good couple of seasonal animes that are really good this season.
That's nice.
And I need to go back and finish watching Twiwi and Dynazenon.
Mm.
Twiwi because the demo for Neo Twiwi came. I'm saying Twiwi. The World Ends With You, which is one of my favorite games of all time. I loved it. You're not a gamer, dude.
I'm almost zoned out at the moment. I'm on the border of trying to pay attention and being zoned out.
It's a JRPG where you play a dude. You play the moody, I don't need the world teenager, and the entire game is just going like, fuck you, dude. I'm trying to explain the story, not the game.
I'm just fucking.
But basically, it's an entire game telling the moody ass teenager, yo, you need other people. Have friends. Stop being a fucking loser. That's the entire game. Stop being a loser, fucking dumbass.
So it's a game about me and the voices in my head.
No. It's about how the world ends with you. The world is only as big as you let it be. So if you let it be nothing, it's nothing. But if you let it be everything, well, that's the world.
Wow, that's neat.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. It's a really good game. It has a weird gameplay curve, but once you get into it, it's good. So after that match with the Redeemer, which just makes me think of a Spawn character.
Yeah. I hope he does gear themed after Redeemer for a pay-per-view. That'd be so awesome.
Does Miro even know about Spawn?
I will make him know about Spawn just to have that happen. I'm gonna fucking tweet at him every day like, hey, look at this character that's called Redeemer. You should make gear of them.
Isn't he the weird bondage angel dude?
Yeah, he was literally called Anti-Spawn for like 10 issues until Todd couldn't trademark it, so he switched to Redeemer.
Okay. But up next, Alex Marvarez is about to try and talk to the Dark Order waiting for a Hangman. Hangman just comes in and goes like, yo, fuck you doing, bro? I didn't tell you to do that. And all the Dark Order goes like, yeah, no, we know. You wouldn't have done it in the first place because you are afraid of failure. We don't care if you fail. We just want you to try. Which is just like, oh.
We knew you needed the push, dude, so we gave you the push.
And like everybody's just going like, yeah, dude, we believe in you. Even if you fail, we'll pick you back up. And like Evil Uno going like, yo, dude, I went for the TNT title and I failed. And you know what you did? You lifted me on your shoulders and said, you celebrated my efforts. That makes me want to try even harder. And it's like everybody's celebrating. And then they go like, yo, you got this, man. You're good. You're a good dude. And everybody leaves. And then Alex Reynolds gets
the guy who got Hangman to join the Dark Order in BT.
Gets the last say. Says the last thing, which I can't remember exactly what it was. But it was something.
It was just another. Hey, we believe in you.
But it's basically reaffirming that, hey, if you lose, we're still your friends. We'll be here with you, win or lose.
We're not gonna do you like he did.
And like, and we leave Hangman uncertain. That's the best way I can describe the way he was looking. He's uncertain of the future.
He gives this look that's just like, man, I wonder if they're right.
Yep.
And then we go to Team Taz giving a little promo. Specifically, Taz, Hook, and Hobbs are there. They're talking about how, like, hey, there's been a lot of friction in our group lately, specifically between Brian and Ricky. And, you know, we're going to work that out next week on Dynamite. Did they say it was next week or is it in a couple weeks? I forget.
I think it is either next week or in a couple weeks. Can't remember.
Okay.
Well, one of those two. It's not going to happen yesterday.
In an increment of time, there will be an FTW championship match between Brian and Ricky so that they can settle their differences.
Yep.
Which undoubtedly will not settle those differences and just pour gasoline on the fire.
How much money you want to bet it's going to be Team Taz turning on Brian Cage and taking the belt off of him and kicking him out of the group?
I would not be surprised with that.
Yeah. I have a feeling that's when it's going to happen. So next up, we have the one, the only, the Native Beast, teaming up with Vicky Guerrero versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Rebel, not Reba. This is as good of a tag match that you can have with two wrestlers and one manager and a wrestler whose entire gimmick is that she's not a wrestler. You good?
Soft, hard disagree.
What?
I didn't like this match, dude. I thought this match fucking sucked, honestly. I was really disappointed in this match.
They did the best they could with what they had.
I mean, yeah, you can say that to an extent, but Rebel still got injured during this match, and the Vicky shtick clearly was not working with the crowd, and, like, I don't know. Like, I've had my reservations about this because I thought they were going to do, like, a different character or something, but, like, Nyla's just being booked the same way she has been in every run-up to her getting the championship there has been. And I'm not saying she's going to take the belt off Britt. I highly doubt that. But she's being booked so dominantly that it makes it look a little bit ridiculous that she's supposed to be the babyface underdog. And I don't know. I just feel like we went from we're slowly building into a new era for the AEW women's division that's going to be helmed by Britt, and now it just feels like we're playing the same song we always play with this title is, here's Nyla. She's a big threat to this smaller lady who's gonna try and overcome the odds.
I don't know. Because here's the thing, this is heel versus heel. Nyla's not being a babyface.
She's tweener at the moment.
Vicky Guerrero is no tweener.
You can be a tweener or a babyface and have a heel manager. That's a dynamic that exists too.
But I'm just saying, like, this is heel versus heel. It's them being dicks to each other. And we're also in a little bit of a holding pattern because, like, you don't want to start something brand new and then go on the road. Like, they were also had the fucking basketball stuff. I feel like this is the blow off to this little mini feud.
God, I hope so.
Give Britt a little bit of a win. And Yuka Sakazaki is coming back to AEW on excursion.
Fingers crossed.
The magical girl.
I hope the Britsburg show they keep advertising is a real big moment for the character.
Maki Ito has also said she is very, very interested in coming back to AEW, which would be fantastic because we know we're all Maki Ito simps.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I need to get money so I can get those shirts.
You're gonna be walking up and down the neighborhood, going like, "Hey, can I mow your lawn for $20?" Yeah. Why do you need the money? I'm a simp.
But no, but they even handled the injury as best they could because Nyla was like, "Oh, you're injured? Okay, cool. Let me get you to the edge of the apron so people can help you." Like, it is the best of the situation they had. I'm not saying it's good. It's the best that they had.
They handled the injury well. I'm not going to deny that, but it's still like, oof, another injury during a supposed big match in the women's division. This is just putting blood in the water for the Sharks.
Yeah. I don't know. They're definitely can do things because Anna Jay's slowly starting to come out uninjured, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's doing the thing Statlander did of, like, she stayed away and healed up for a good while, and now, while she's well enough to be on her feet but not well enough to wrestle again, she's just chilling out backstage.
Talking, getting, yeah. And Chris Statlander's up and available. She can go for the belt. There's a bunch of things you can do.
God, what I wouldn't give for Chris Statlander versus Britt Baker right now.
Yep. Do you want me to just go over what's on the card next week?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we have on the Road Rager card Penta and Eddie versus the Bucks for the titles. This is the only thing that's a little disappointing in terms of like what they're booking right now because this feels very WWE. I don't like, oh, you have to win twice to get the thing, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan.
They have done that in the past, though, of like, oh, I beat your champion. Don't I deserve a championship match?
Yeah, but it's also like there's things in between. I don't like it when it's like back to back. I don't mind it. I don't like it when it's back to back. If there's like 2 weeks in between,
you need that buffer. You need that buffer.
Yeah, just give me like even if they don't wrestle in that buffer means like, okay, cool. No, we need to plan this. Because like this, it just feels super pre-planned. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Eddie's over, so we got to give him a push.
Yeah. Cody versus QT in a South Beach strap match, which is going to be old school wrestling fun.
That'll be a thing. That'll certainly be a thing. Either I'm going to go, hey, I like this feud again, or I'm going to go, Cody, please stop. I'm begging you.
He's not going to stop until QT is over like Rover.
So he'll be doing this feud when he's 80.
That's kind of mean to QT.
I like QT, but I think we have definitively proven at this point that there's not enough people that like QT for QT to get over.
Andrade El Idolo versus Matt Sydal. That's going to be fun.
Fuck yeah.
Inner Circle versus Pinnacle 6-man tag, which is going to be Jake Hager, Santana, and Ortiz versus FTR and Wardlow?
Yes.
Okay. Jericho versus MJF face-to-face. Not a match. It's just kind of, I think it's a promo segment.
Yeah.
And then Chris and Orange versus Bunny and Blade. This
The
is
first
second.
first mixed tag match. First mixed tag match in AEW.
Part of me just goes like, can we just do intergender matches, guys, on AEW? We recognize it's all fake.
Yeah, I'm all for intergender wrestling. I think it would be awesome.
I don't know. Do you want to talk about the promo and the main event?
Yeah. So we go backstage after the match is announced. The Inner Circle versus Pinnacle 6-man, and Hager, Santana, and Ortiz are chilling out. And Hager's basically like, "Yo, Wardlow, I invited you into my world. I'll let you have a cage match with me, and you fucked me. Now me and my boys, we're gonna fuck you up." And we're not gonna do it on our own because we know you got that wily old bastard Tully Blanchard with you. So we got our own wily old bastard who's now out for revenge against you guys. By the way, Conan will be in our corner.
Hell yeah. And Santana also gave some dope ass promo shit.
Mhm. Uh, it was in Spanglish. Anyway, the main event: Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF versus the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara. I fucking love this match, dude. This was incredible. Like, genuinely, I think they blew Jungle Boy versus Kenny out of the water.
Yeah, no, this is the beautiful send off the pandemic era that it needed. This is two upcoming main event stars that are going to be the foundation for this company for years to come. Basically showing like, all right, cool. Here's us just doing a main event match to
Here's
show
us
you what we're.
firing on all cylinders, and the crowd is totally into it. Like, this fucking reminded me of Macho Man versus Steamboat, dude. It was that good.
It's Macho. It's dude. It's Steamboat versus Flair.
Mm.
Because MJF is a modern day Flair. He is a modern interpretation of that kind of character. And Sammy, to an extent, is that same kind of like big bombast, flashy, high flyer offense.
Mm-hmm. And they really did that well with that opening sequence where they were just in perfect sync with each other, showing how much of a match for each other they are. All the like trying to fake Sammy out that Max did, and then those big spots towards the end and the selling. Oh my god, the selling in this match was great.
Oh, beautiful, perfect, wonderful. I love how even how they sold how frustrated they were because they were doing that 1-2 roll pin little spot, and then they
Mm-hmm.
just got away from each other and just the look of like, fuck, why are you so good? Why can't you be a little bit worse so I can just win this shit? They had on their faces was just like beautiful.
Like, you get the feeling that MJF wanted to win this clean. Like, he went in going like, I want to beat this guy clean so I can definitively prove that I'm better than him. But if I can't, yo, Sean, you got Old Faithful with you?
Oh no! Before that, Wardlow starts attacking Chris Jericho. They're on the apron of the stage. They're just
Well,
fucking around.
Wardlow comes out like he's going to interfere in the match, and Jericho, who's at the commentary table, is like, oh, fuck no, y'all ain't about to do my boy like that.
Yep. But Wardlow then uses that to like go like, "Hey Bryce, fuck you, Bryce, fuck you," and he throws Jericho into the concrete as Sean Spears comes up with a chair, bonks Sammy on the head, nuts because of it. Like the look on his face was, "I have just nutted."
He's like, I did it. I finally did it after weeks of edging. I did it. I beat No Nut November. I beat No Sammy Bonk fucking June.
God damn it. But that knocks him out just enough for MJF to get the pin.
And they're all celebrating. There's a bunch of chaos, and eventually they make their way to the back. And we get a video package to end off the show, which is a montage and a look back at the pandemic era of AEW. And yeah, it was fucking great. It was beautiful. Like like AEW has quickly gone from, yeah, they're all right video packages to, oh no, they found editors that are just as good as WWE's
I
editors.
think it's also just they know how to pick music, because this music was just perfect for that kind of like, we've been putting on a show for no one, and now we have people, and it feels so right. And I also like
Because
how
like
they kind of edited it a little bit to kind of make it look feel like Brody was in front of a crowd for some of it. Like he got
yeah,
that people got to see him.
that like that whole bit where like it goes from all the moments and all the little cameos and stuff to here's the Brody tribute show. Don't forget the Brody tribute show. And then we start seeing the crowd a little more and the noise starts building and things start getting more bombastic and just it's like simultaneously I want to burst into tears and nut by the end of this thing.
It is really good. It is, and it's very bittersweet because ultimately, at this point, at the beginning, we were going like, "Oh man, pandemic era wrestling is gonna suck. There's no crowd. This is gonna blow. It's gonna
AEW
be. It's
might
not
go
gonna feel
bankrupt.
right. It's not gonna feel right." But now it's just kind of like, I feel like I'm gonna miss some of the intimacy. It feels bittersweet. Like,
This was the time where this company and specifically we need to preface it, we're talking about this company because we've had very limited experience with the rest of the pandemic era. Um but I feel like this is the time where we went from like, yeah, AEW, it's the cool hip thing to no, AEW is this thing that's really special and has all these characters that we love and we care about and we want to see them succeed and we want to see the people that portray them succeed. Um, like I went through the process of becoming an AEW fan in the time between the first Double or Nothing getting announced and the pandemic starting. But the pandemic starting until now has been my journey of going, no, I'm a diehard AEW fan.
because they
Like,
just did so many things that you just go like, that feels like the right thing to do. Like, okay, they immediately limited what they did wrestling wise. They immediately tried to keep the show going as safe as possible, which yes, good. But they also try to keep the show as alive as possible with wrestlers in the crowd making the noise to kind of keep up the spirits,
uh-huh.
that kind of thing. And then they were like, okay, cool. There's a lot of independent wrestlers who are out of work right now. Let's just hire them on
Fuck
a
it. Dark
temporary
is a 2 hour show. Fuck it. Here's another Dark that's a 2 hour show every week. Just get as many independent people money as we can.
money and basically keep this business alive, because like none of the other independent promotions were able to put on shows. And if they could put on a show, they wouldn't have made any money because nobody was going out to see them. And
Yeah.
WWE wasn't about to open its doors unless it's exclusively, because they like to keep a closed garden. Which, it's fair on them. They are allowed to do that. But like, AW saw, no, people need this. We need to be able to. We should do this. And then we got people like Eddie Kingston coming in, getting over, and getting an opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah. Think of how many people are like marquee names in AEW now that we didn't even know about before the pandemic or only were kind of aware of. Like fucking Ricky Starks. Who? That guy from the NWA? I don't know. Maybe he'll be in NXT in a couple years. Nope. Fucking Brian Cage. I had no idea who Brian Cage were. I know there were some people who knew him from Lucha Underground, but I've only watched Lucha Underground the one time and barely remember it. So him showing up at Double or Nothing was so amazing. Oh my god, Matt coming in and reinventing himself again. Brody showing what he was worth,
All this time.
realizing his own potential, and for better or for worse, bowing out when he was at the height of his career.
Here's the thing. I'm saying with utmost confidence. AEW has three homes. Chicago, Jacksonville, and they haven't even put a show there. Rochester, New York.
Oh yeah.
That like
I saw somebody on the AEW subreddit the other day say that like they should consider making the Brody Lee tribute show a regular thing. And I don't know about that, but I would be down for a Brody Lee tribute show too in Rochester.
and I would rather it not be like immediate, just like label it Brody Lee tribute show, but just have that spirit of like, no, we're honoring this man's life by like showing that we're able to persevere and not wallow in grief and like continue what he wanted.
Yeah. Have there be a through line with -1 in that episode. Like have him be doing stuff in like each major segment of the show.
But like, I just imagine, because Brody Lee is Rochester's boy. Like wrestling fans in Rochester, they know Brody Lee. That's their boy, and they were so excited to see him and see him come up, and it was just like, yes, get to see him do dope shit. From everything I've seen, imagine that community, that crowd, just seeing -1 and just give him all that love.
Like you saw that tweet from Tay Conti I posted in your server earlier, and I was just looking at that going like, man, I cannot wait for the day I get to look -1 in the eye and go like, hey man, I loved your dad and I love you too. I hope you continue to do great things.
Yeah. And like that just feels like what AEW is right now. And like WWE fans will just shit on us and go like, ah, fuck it, you're
Oh my god. Did you hear JR say WWE Dynamite? I can't believe they're still using that old fossil.
you know damn well if he was working for WWE, they'd be going like, oh, JR's the best. He's always been the best. He'll always be the best.
Yeah, just like, and the man's allowed to flub up. He's been doing this how long? We do this every week. The only difference between what we do and JR does is he does it on national television. We're doing it on YouTube for nobody, and we fuck up just as often as he does.
Oh yeah, and dude, you don't think having the ingrained habit of saying WWE isn't still with him after being there with what, 25 years?
Uh-huh.
You know? And he's done it, what, twice in the entire time he's commentated AEW.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But, you know, man, at this point, I really feel like there's going to be a day 20, 30 years down the road where whether it's still around or not, I'm going to have the kind of fervor and reverence for this time period in wrestling and this time period with AEW that I hear guys Brian Myers' age have for original ECW.
Yeah. That's the interesting thing about AEW. It's the glitz and the glamour of WCW and WWE, but with like the ethics and the morale, like the work ethic and the fan ethic of ECW.
Mm. And the morality of the modern day.
As much as it can. They still have to play around people, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, this is the end of an era, and it's really nice to see it end. But it's also it's gonna be bittersweet because like, fuck, we had so many good matches. We had so many storylines begin and end. We had so many careers begin in earnest. We had so many careers cut short. It's just...
And it's been such a unique venue, too. It'll never not be said that Daly's Place is not one of, if not the most unique venue in modern wrestling. And they're going to another one next week. Did you look up that place they're going to in Miami?
No.
It's a fucking concert hall, dude.
Damn. Apparently, Mid-South, like old NWA Mid-South, put shows on there.
Before, but I looked at the seat layout, and it's full on like the kind of theater you'd see a comedy special filmed in.
Neat. But going on tour is going to be fun. I don't think there's much more we can say about this episode of Dynamite. Do you?
No, it was really solid. There was a big old pothole in the middle of it, but you know, not every show is perfect. And I still really enjoyed the parts of this that I really enjoyed, and there's a lot of great stuff that happened, and we're laying to rest the pandemic era and sowing the seeds for the future, and I'm very excited for that future.
I cannot wait to see the documentaries about this era of wrestling.
Oh yeah,
But in the
that
meantime,
that should just be the whole of Dark Side of Season 4.
why don't you tell people who you are, where they can find you, and the whatnots?
Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm the Vacuuminator. I'm a toy reviewer here on YouTube. I put out weekly reviews every Wednesday, actually. Wednesday seems to just be the release day for everything now. You know, you have AEW, you have comic books, you have Disney Plus, and you have my videos. You know, just yesterday, I took a look at the Royal Rumble 2021 WWE Elite Collection Stone Cold Steve Austin and the 2021 WrestleMania China. So if you want to hear something about those figures, go check out my channel. And as a special little sneak peek that I know will get this man excited, next week on my channel, going to be doing my first Marvel Legends review, the 80th anniversary Hulk
Ooh.
and first appearance Wolverine 2-pack. So
Man.
if you want to see those videos, go subscribe to my channel and wait patiently because they'll be out next Wednesday. And if you want to hear whatever else I have to say, go and follow me on Twitter. I'm at the Vacuuminator, and I'm always on Instagram at _Vacuuminator, posting action figure photography.
Hey, howdy, I'm Chris Boingo Writer Gaston. I make video essays and editorials on YouTube. You can find me at Boingo Writer. You know how the YouTube works. I am on Twitter and Instagram at Boingo_Writer. Follow me there. And in the meantime, if you liked this podcast, you could always give it a like, a comment, and a subscribe to the channel on YouTube. If you want to see this podcast and many more, including but not limited to No Price Podcast, where we talk about Marvel and comics and shit. Twit, where Vac and Buster, newest member to our little cadre, talk about tokusatsu in the week. How do you like that word, cadre?
Cadre is fine. I'm just incredibly amused at the fact that you just fucked up our scheduling because we were going to announce that on Twitter tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, fuck it.
Nobody listens to this.
Yeah. And on Monday we have Monday is No Prize. Friday is modular components. We record on Sunday for components. Where components is anybody who is available at the time comes in. We just talk about shit. What happened in our week? Things we don't want to bring up. Shows we want to talk about. A variety of things, including
your old cringy videos.
Oh, very cringy. Did you watch all the ones I posted?
I watched Epic Adventure.
Yep. And you'll be able to hear about their journey and their guffawing tomorrow in Modular Components when it comes out. So, subscribe to do that. And if you're on a podcasting platform of your choice, like Apple Podcast, iTunes doesn't really exist anymore. Apple Podcast, Spotify, places like that. Hey, give us a follow and tell your friends about us. Best way to help out the podcast, best way to help us out, best way to spread the MMWP love and affection. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, I'm very proud to announce that I'm just going to spoil it. I'm completely in love with this Hulk figure, and we're getting married.
I feel like I should say enough said.
Yeah,